This thing on. Hello
We're
everyone,
here!
welcome
Hey
to
guys!
another fun-filled episode of Fangirlz Assemble. I'm back. My voice is back, and joining me all the way from Kentucky. It's Madelyn. How are you doing, Madelyn?
I'm doing all right. So, warning all of you, the sickness is continuing to spread around. So please, everyone, take care of yourselves. Although mine just might be allergies. Again, I've told you guys, I'm real life snot girl. That's my life. I know it. I don't think it makes me any less attractive, I'm gonna be honest. But I cleaned today my house and my sewing room and my cosplay room, which needed it. It was very dusty. So I am very allergic to dust. So today I'm wearing my sloth onesie because this is the kind of mood I'm in today. This is full on sloth, laziness, me with all of my tissues, my 2 cups of tea with my Wonder Woman cup. So
Do
I'm
you
gonna do our
want to
best
show us
here.
how many tissues you have produced already?
No, I do not. Okay, you don't need to know. It has been an ordeal today. So just know that I'm living my snot girl life in real life. It's just as glamorous, I promise. And my Rudolph red nose, so you can
I
see.
I don't know why I'm laughing because last weekend I barely could talk. If those of you who are just joining us, just go back to last weekend. And Kristan was here and she was so awesome and amazing. And this is me. Kristan, what are you doing? Just creeping.
It was beautiful, honestly. Honestly, I don't always listen back to our episodes, but I was listening to that one, and I thought we were very fun and enjoyable. I thought it was very cute, all of us, because everyone was sick, even our guest Kristen, who was lovely.
Yeah.
But it was wonderful to listen to all of us because we were all just laughing.
Some of
That's a really good icebreaker.
So, Philip Evans, one of our regular listeners, he was actually mentioning that it was wasted that Fariha didn't say I'm Batman.
Oh, you're right. I didn't think about it.
I didn't think about it either.
We'll remember it next time you're sick. Next time you're sick, we'll take requests from the crowd of what
No,
you should say. That's
no,
appropriate, anyways.
we're not getting that level of sick ever again because I can't believe I couldn't actually speak. Like my voice is one of my assets, you guys, and I couldn't speak. And I can't believe like everyone I met is like everyone's like, oh, that's great, and I'm like, shut up, like
That was healthy
so.
for you. You got to like sit back, observe, and then on the inside, be like, I want to say more. Let me free.
I want to talk about Chris Evans's
You were like
ass.
real life Black Bolt. Think about it.
Oh yeah, I'm like, how is this guy doing it? I have now newfound respect for that guy. Like, like just sitting there and shutting up. Like it's a newfound respect. But anyway, before we get too far along, we want to plug our sponsor. Who are they, Daddy?
InStockTrades.com. Our number one sponsor, my number one favorite website of all time. I ordered way too much from there last week. You can get up to, well, usually around 42% off, but sometimes up to 50. And there is a crazy, crazy good sale on their damaged books right now. And if you have never bought a damaged trade or book from In Stock Trades, you're missing out because I have I've ordered several from them and they say they're damaged and I never really see anything ever at all wrong with
Right.
their books, which is wonderful. So they have a crazy good damage sale going on that gets cheaper every day. And also, if you order up to around over $50 worth of books, you get free shipping, which is great. And they're my favorite, and I love them. They have the best packaging, and they're super wonderful. And yeah, you know, eventually we'll have like a whole gospel, the
Yeah.
Gospel of Emily.
And the sale that Matt is talking about, so it's kind of increase in percentage. So starting October 23rd, it will be 55% off, 26, 60% off, 30 at 65% off. By the time it gets around November 13th, it's 85% off.
Which is insane.
I know. So
and I check the damages like on the regular anyway, so I'm very excited. When we get to about 80, I'm gonna go full on in on those.
Yeah, I did just hope that they stick around until then.
Yeah.
There is some, I was looking at it, like Batman and Robin Omnibus is there.
Oh yeah, the Miles Morales Spider-Man, I think they have a damaged one of his omnibus.
Okay. And couple of others. And most of the time, like in unfortunately, they can't tell you the extent of the damage, but it's either non-existent or very invisible to, to dweebs like us.
Yeah.
Or there's like a good chance that the page is kind of folded inside or something.
Yeah, and I've never had trouble with it. And I'm also like, granted, I'm not somebody who needs my books to be in pristine condition.
Mm-hmm.
They're for my own personal collection. I'm just happy to have them and read them. I'm not looking to sell them again or anything like that. But honestly, like they come over and I'm like, this is better if I bought it on Amazon new. So
yeah.
I'm happy, and it's way cheaper than Amazon, so I'm good.
Yeah, so everyone head to Maddie's favorite. What did you say? Like your number one favorite website, InStockTrades.com.
Oh, absolutely. I'm checking it every day. Like if you look at my most recent, but when you open Google and it's like your most visited websites,
right?
It's like always there. Like, hey, Maddie, we know you're buying way too many comics.
Okay. Well, also we need to mention that Kristan will be joining us, but she will be a little late. She's making her way from work now. So, we just make sure that we told her that just safely drive home, calmly drive home, and then get yourself a cup of coffee and then join us. So
yeah.
Nothing to worry about. So, Maddie, we actually wanted to talk about cosplay for a very long time. And it's Halloween coming around the corner. You had a very amazing costume for your Halloween party yesterday, and which was awesome.
Thank you.
And I was actually kind of thinking about it a little bit. I feel like with all the superhero comics, like superhero movies and everything being so ingrained into our pop culture now, do you see a difference that now Halloween has kind of essentially become con cosplay?
Well, I see it crossing over a lot now, because like con culture used to be a lot more niche, like it was a very unique and separate thing. And then I feel like, I think Marvel did it was a big part of that too. Like a lot of nerd culture got really big, just mainstream. Marvel movies got crazy big. A lot of superhero movies got really big. Superhero shows, right? Because you have all the DC superhero shows, a lot of comic shows, a lot more supernatural stuff, and like that. And I think it's a lot cooler to put effort into costumes in the same way cosplay does. And maybe that's also with a lot more like recognition or media recognition of Comic Cons, especially because of San Diego Comic Con. Like, I've been going to anime cons for, I guess, 10 years now. And now, like, before, at the beginning, when I would try to explain to people what I did, they, didn't understand. But now I can be like, oh, I go to comic conventions. I can say Comic-Con, right? And they're like, oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. But they would not have understood what I was talking about, maybe 5 years ago even. But my spin class instructor, I was talking to her this week, and she dresses up. She's going to be Miss Marvel this year. And she goes to like the hospital, like the children's hospital on Halloween to do like reverse trick-or-treating where she's dressed up and she goes to all the rooms and gives candy. So I see a lot more people that do that kind of like more of a cosplay sort of thing. Although I do catch myself being a cosplayer, referring to Halloween costumes as cosplay all the time. I'm like, oh man, nice cosplay. Oh wait, no, this is Halloween. This is a different thing.
Is it though? But is it though? That's the question that I was asking. Like, I mean, I think we have come a long way from putting a sheet with like a hole for the eyes and like being a ghost compared to like more complicated. But do you think like the reason Halloween costume hasn't arrived that stage of cosplaying because people often don't put enough effort into them, or they're not sophisticated enough?
I don't think it's that. I mean, the difference is really cosplay is when you're like it's costume play is what the words are broken down to. And you're playing as like a character typically, most of the time. So like wearing like a bee costume or like, or I don't know, a sexy pirate costume. That's not really a character. That's just a thing.
Yeah.
I'd say that's a costume.
Right.
But if I was saying like a Miss Marvel costume, I'd be like, that's a cosplay. You could say it's a cosplay, right? Because that's like a real thing. But also at cons, you see people dress up as anything now, right?
Right.
Like you'll see people just from regular TV shows, like Brooklyn Nine-Nine cosplayers or something. I'll see people that are like that woman from the Progressive commercials.
Oh, Flo.
Yeah, Flo. I see Flo cosplayers or like, all sorts of stuff. And I don't even know how to really tell the difference. It's just I know it's cosplay when it's cosplay.
Right.
But I guess if it's at a convention, it's definitely cosplay, right?
I saw this one lady. I actually had to ask her. I'm like, "Are you cosplaying as Jessica Jones?" Because she's like, "Oh my god, thank you!" Because she had like the scarf and the jacket, from the Jessica Jones show, and then she's like, "No, I just look like a typical New York lady." I'm like, "Well," then I'm like, "Well, that's what Jessica Jones is."
Well, that's the hard thing, right? Though, because like with characters like that regular clothes, you need to either be like spot on, look like that, or like really put it in all the work, or have somebody with you, because then it's more obvious. Like if you're going to cosplay from Preacher, I just got into that show, so I know what that is now. I'm cool, I'm hip. I feel like any of those characters by themselves wouldn't be recognizable, but you make a group, then
right.
And so that's always like the selling point of it too, right? Because a lot of comics that we read, some of the outfits are just regular outfits if they're not like superheroes. So how would you know? Like I saw a Snot Girl last year, and she's like, "Oh my god, you're the first person who knew that I was." But I just saw like green hair and a cute outfit, and I was like, "It's gotta be." And she had like a little like painted snot under her nose. She's really cute.
I had to actually ask, and this is also, this is me being racist. So I had to
Here we go. Woo! Let's do it.
How many minutes? It was 12 minutes, and we're bringing like, tough, hard-hitting subjects.
Please, let's go.
This is me being racist. I walked up to this guy, and I'm like, "Are you Killmonger?" Because he had the whole, the hair and the jacket and everything. I'm like, "Oh." Then he's like, "Yeah, I'm cosplaying as Killmonger. This is not how I dress." I'm like, "Whoa, you're looking very good."
And why would you think that'd be racist? You just recognize his costume.
No, I mean, the thing is like, okay, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I mean, he could be just a black guy with his hair and everything. I don't want to just assume that, but, and he had the blue jacket and everything. So I just didn't want to just assume that, "Oh, are you cosplaying?" What if he's like, "No, I'm not. This is what I look like."
I mean, that happens though, too. I mean, that just happens. Sometimes you see people at con and they're just like, you just think that they're cosplaying a thing because they have an outfit that's similar. Or maybe it's wishful thinking. Or sometimes it's not even they're cosplaying from not from the show you think they're cosplaying from, or not from the whatever they're from.
Right.
And usually people are pretty nice and they're just like, "Oh, thank you." Because I've been in cosplay before and been mistaken for other things. And I don't want to be that dick who's like, excuse me, actually this costume is, it's better just to be like, "Okay, cool, yeah, thanks." I appreciate it.
I think like most of the time I've been just like, people are just super nice and just corrected me. Like, because I'm like, "Oh, is this from this?" And they're like, "Oh no, it's actually from this." I'm like, "Oh, great." And then typically we would end up having a conversation like, "Oh, tell me about this thing that you're talking about because I may like that." You know what I mean? So, for example, like I saw this lady, I honestly thought that she was from Lady Mechanica, but turns out it's actually from a different anime. And then she was like, "Oh, tell me about Lady Mechanica." And surprisingly, I was actually standing in front of the booth of the Lady Mechanica writer. So I'm like, "Oh, it's actually this guy wrote it. So you can go and check it out." So yeah, that's kind of like, has my experience has been. So another thing that we kind of talked about a little bit, though, is that what's considered to be more, well, no, I don't want to I'm gonna go
Here,
ahead
I
and
think I
say
have
it.
a good way to phrase it.
Yeah, so
So,
go ahead and phrase
okay.
it.
So, Free and I talked recently because she's been to a lot of cons, and so she's seen a lot of cosplays, and she'll be like, "I can't believe that they're cosplaying this," and just like,
Hey!
and because people cosplay problematic characters, right?
Right.
And that's something that people have been talking about a lot. Zoning in on stories of problematic themes or problematic characters. There's been a big discussion about like separating what that character's done from appreciation of the character. So a couple examples, right? You saw what a Jessica Jones and Purple
Purple Man.
Man.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
couple.
And then you've seen like the Harley and Joker. And those are problematic relationships. Absolutely. Toxic. And sometimes not even in relationships, but just toxic like couplings of people, right?
Not just that. I also
And
saw
that really threw
I also
you.
yeah, I also saw a Joker and Harley Quinn mother and daughter cosplay.
Yeah.
That was like and the daughter was like really small child. Like, she was like, I think like 4 and 5. She was like Harley Quinn, and with like the whole like, the animated series Harley Quinn with like the red and gray, and then the mom was like Joker. And I'm like, wow. And that was actually kind of started our discussion, because I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, I woke up one morning, there's just like messages and I was like, oh no, what happened?
Like, what's going on right now? And then also like in Jessica Jones and Purple Man, that seriously creeped me out so much. That was very creepy. Like, I was like, oh. But yeah, so I mean, what's your thought on that?
Okay. Ooh, I'm trying to sneeze. Sorry guys, okay. Do my best. Well, for me, like, those don't bother me because I can see it as like an appreciation for the characters and wanting to like dress up as appreciation of them while not condoning them, right? So people dress up as villains all the time, or like, I don't know, like problematic couplings in those things, or all sorts of things. And like, I don't like the romanticization of Harley and Joker's relationship at all. Like, I don't appreciate that. I don't like it in like when I go into Hot Topic and look at clothes, right? Because there's always this like Harley and Joker, and like I don't care for that, right? But I also didn't know that growing up either.
Right.
Like now I know that as an adult and like reading more of the comics, but I don't see them as like a romance that I want to have in my life. But I also think people can appreciate those characters as like a criminal duo and just be fine. And also, like, not all media shows just how awful their relationship is either. So, like, most of the cartoons and stuff don't, like, especially younger, don't go into that. Or, like, movies like Batman Ninja, you don't see all of those, like, aspects of that thing. So it doesn't bother me, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at. Because I feel like you can dress up as it and not, that doesn't mean that you're supportive of that thing. Like, I love Thanos. I love Thanos cosplayers. I love when there's a big Thanos and a little Gamora. I think it's great. I don't agree with anything that happened in that movie, but I love them.
Yeah, and that's also, like, surprising that I don't mind if like someone is on their own dressing up as a villain. Sure, it's a fun thing, and most of the time it's actually kind of they're doing something funny with it, not necessarily just straight up the costume. I think like most of the time I get a little, have you read the comics? Like, I wanted to actually go up to them and ask them. It's like when I see a pair doing like, dressed up something which it shouldn't, like, I mean, like, I don't know, like, I don't feel like couples should be dressing up as just Purple Man and Jessica Jones. Like, that's like a straight up, that's not, I mean, even Joker and Harley, you can be like, I'm okay with it because these are two problematic people, and then there's like whatever history, whatever you want to say, like, it needs to be addressed, but still it's a different dynamic than Jessica Jones and Purple Man, which was straight up assaulter, and like, he just straight up raped her. Like, it's like it's just it's I don't know. I keep on thinking about it. And I think it's like they were in front of me the whole time in the line. And I was like that, oh, please stop. And they were also like, making out. I'm like, oh, stop it. Stop it. Like, in my head, I don't know, maybe because it was a very convincing cosplay, because in my head, I'm like, he's making her do this.
No, I get it. Which I always think it's hilarious, because like a lot of times you have an appreciation for a show and there's only so many characters that are recognizable to cosplay or that you would feel comfortable cosplaying. So sometimes it just works out like that. Like, my boyfriend and I've cosplayed together, and sometimes like, the cosplays don't go well together as a couple. Like, we cosplayed from a video game, and I was this like Russian spy, and then he's a very young boy. He's just cosplaying a very young boy, and he's a lot taller than me too. So it's just one of those weird ones where you see people cosplay like father and daughter from things that are like a couple. And you're like, oh no, ugh. But what can you do?
Well, I was just looking for one because I thought that in terms of cosplaying as a couple, they took the cake, because look at them. Can you see it?
Oh, I love that. I love gender bends. I love like
gender, and he's so comfortable in this. Like, he was awfully comfortable. And I loved it. I loved it so much. And I told them that too. I'm like, you guys are looking awesome. Like, that's just, that's real love. That's like, true love.
Yeah.
So,
okay, so we have another cosplay debate to talk about.
Oh, yeah. I was going to go to that one next. So you go ahead. Start it.
Okay. All right. So I've been just upset about it. But I also understand that people don't know when they're saying what they're saying, right? Because they hear the same rhetoric over and over again. So recently, there was a post.
Hang on. Before you begin, I just wanted to say, Maddie being upset is a big deal, because I get upset all the time. Maddie's always happy. She's like, she's like, oh, it's okay. It doesn't bother me. So if something bothered Maddie, that means I was off the wall.
Yeah, because I was losing it in our like personal chat.
Yeah, Maddie was losing it. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. Okay. So here we go.
Outraged, but anyway, go for it.
So this is something that we've been hearing a lot. I've been hearing this rhetoric a lot. It was about Starfire and the new Titan show, right?
Right.
So somebody in our group had posted like, and I think they meant well. I don't think they understood, And some people, they just, I'm here to teach you, maybe, as a woman, how to talk about these things. Maybe you don't know. Ignorance, that happens. Don't do it again. Okay, here we go. So in his post, he was upset about the way Starfire looked, and her outfit. And that's something that we've heard a lot. It's also something that we've seen already that is going to change throughout the series. We don't know how much of that is related to where she is, what's going on with her story. I'm not going to get into that, okay? You can be upset about the way the character is designed for a show. You can also be like, well, I would have liked different casting. I get that, But what you can't do is, like, just, for lack of a better word, shit on somebody how they look the whole entire time. But anyways, so he posted about it. He's very upset. And he posted a picture of Anna Diop, who plays Starfire, next to a picture of a cosplayer who cosplays Starfire. He didn't even credit her either, which I do not care for. Don't just post people's cosplay photos and not credit them. It was Beck of Hearts. She's a fantastic cosplayer, by the way.
And you know her?
Yeah. Not personally, but like I've followed her for a year. So,
right.
And he was comparing to, he's like, why does Anna Diop in the show look like this, but this cosplay looks like this? And then we get into the comments, and of course, there's a lot of like, Starfire looks like a prostitute, a lot of talking about her skin color, how it's too dark, all this stuff. And so, of course, there's the drudges of society always come out and ends up being sort of one of these things.
Right.
Okay, so number one, don't call a woman looks like a prostitute. Maybe don't do that, okay?
Well, no, they didn't say that she looks like a prostitute. They said that she looks like a slut. First of all, don't do that.
They use the word prostitute.
Oh, they use the word prostitute too? Oh, yeah, okay.
Yes. And so then some people were like, in order to make it seem better, compared the two women, right? And did a thing like, well, I think the cosplayer looks more like a prostitute than Anna. Or saying, well, the cosplayer looks like a clip from Pornhub, or doing all these things going back and forth,
Right.
as if trying to like make the situation better. And that's the rhetoric that's been said over and over again about the Starfire in the show. And none of that's okay. You can talk about how you don't like the character design. You can talk about anything like this, but the way that this is discussed is inherently sexist and awful, and it's very upsetting from people that I respect, and I love my fellow comic book readers, and I love people in the group. And I was like, we can talk about this without having to bring back, like, drag these two girls' looks through the mud. You know, and there's a lot of talk about, I don't know, Starfire being over-sexualized and all this stuff, but, like, you just brought a real-life person into this argument without asking them. You just took this cosplayer's picture, and we're like, I'm going to compare these two, right? This keeps happening. You don't ask credit to talk about this. People just steal these people's images and use them, and then you drag them through the mud. Because inevitably, to, like, defend the show, people are like, well, she doesn't look any more like a prostitute than this person. It's just awful. And it was so upsetting.
And not just that, like, there's also compare the whole, if you want to talk about, like, comparing women's look just to make a point. And when the women in question are not involved in this, I mean, I understand, like, you know, Anna Diop, she is an actor. She's more of a public figure, so to speak. Even then, it's not okay. But okay, let's just say I'm going to give you a benefit of doubt that she's an actor for a show versus this other, you know, other cosplayer. She doesn't know that this is happening. She's not part of the group, closed group. And then now you're just doing a comparison. And I was very, like, by the time I got to it, the thread has already been deleted because, you know, the admins were like, what the hell is this? You know, none of us were okay with this. This is like the Facebook group that we're talking about. And none of us were okay with this. And then that was like, one person got banned. But what really was upsetting is, like, some of this, like, you know, the comments about being prostitutes and stuff came from prominent members, and which was like, hey man, like, cut it out.
It's just insensitive and sexist and awful. And it was just like, it, you know, the way that they talk about these people, I feel like you wouldn't see them talk about male actors in the same way.
Oh no.
But regardless, like, you shouldn't talk about anybody like this. You don't need to drag people through the mud like this. And I know the cosplay community as a whole, because this debate's been going on a lot. Ever since Titans, they released the characters, people have been very upset across the board. Oh man, I'm trying to sneeze. Sorry, guys. And in order to be like, okay, these people suck, these actors suck, their design sucks, they compare them all to cosplayers. Well, they're never, TV shows and cosplay doesn't translate. Like, they don't, you can cosplay from an animation or comic or whatever, but quite often for shows, they're not going to make it look the same. They have their own reasons. And people drag the actors through the mud about it. That's not their choice. Like, it's not their choice at all. And all the cosplayers, like, please don't use our images for your bullshit. Don't use our images to drag this woman through the mud. Especially black women cosplayers who already cosplayed Starfire were very upset. They were like, she's a beautiful woman. She's a beautiful actress. You know, and some of them are like, maybe I don't like the design, but I'm excited for her. And, like, don't use my image without my permission to drag this beautiful woman through the mud. Like, that, I do not give you permission to do that.
Right.
You need to stop trying to drag these beautiful women through the mud for your own weird sexist issues. But anyways, I feel like if my nose wasn't exploding, maybe I'd be able to talk about this better.
No, but
I've lost all my vernacular for discussing this, I guess.
No, but I think, like, you know, that's also something that I've seen in my con experience, though. And that was, like, it kind of dives into the next issue, like, next conversation that I wanted to have with you, was that, like, especially I've seen that for the female account, like, you know, female cosplayers than men. Because I'm the only perv in the female lady perv in the con, so I'm the one who's doing the perving on the male cosplayers. But with the female cosplayers, I've often seen that, you know, if they are dressed a little, you know, sexualized, which is completely fine, but there's always this like group of nerdy, like kind of characters always there and taking pictures with them, and at times I feel like they get a little bit too close to them, and I can see that a certain discomfort. Like, you know, so is that something that's like kind of prominently talked about in the cosplay community, or like, you know, how, what's, you know, educate us pretty much.
Oh, absolutely. So a lot of cons have taken to this phrase called cosplay is not consent.
Oh yes, I saw that.
And that's a big deal. And okay, well, as we talk, I'll pull this up too. So that comes up a lot, and it's been a big discussion because we do have a lot of women and men, you know, who are in cosplay, and people don't know how to respect their boundaries. You know, they touch them inappropriately. They'll take pictures without consent. You should always ask to take a photo.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And ask permission if you want your arm around them or anything. Ask permission. Like I've cosplayed Yoko from Gurren Lagann. She wears like a bikini top and shorts, and people ask photos for me, but then like do that weird slip their hand behind your back, like from one edge to the other, and then have their hand on your bare midriff. I've had people, I don't know, if you want a certain type of shot, just ask. You know, I'm not going to be offended by you asking, unless it's incredibly inappropriate. But I've had people say, "Hey, would you mind doing a more fan servicey photo for me or pose?" Because some people do that, and I think that's fine. Own your sexuality, you know, own being sexy, own fan service, whatever you feel comfortable with. But people asking photos should be also respectful. And don't assume just because someone is dressed how they're dressed that you get to touch them, however. I've had people be groped. My friends be groped at cons. My friend dressed up as Black Widow, and a man just grabbed her ass. But he was like, well, you know, and there's like that same rhetoric, right? You're asking for it. And same for men. You know, people will bother men just in the same way. And men and women across the board in cosplay, whether they're like having a lot of skin showing or skin tight, or they're in full armor, people will just touch you without permission, which is awful because you have very fragile armor parts, right? Or cosplay parts too. If somebody touches you, things could fall off. Like sometimes you're barely holding on the whole costume together.
Right.
But also, that's just part of your space. People should just like leave you alone. Let me find this. I want to give my friend a call out. Okay, so my friend Jen, my friend Trixie, runs the Cosplayer Survivor Support Network for cosplayers that have like experienced sexual assault at cons.
Oh wow! Okay.
And she goes to cons. You can find them on Facebook, Cosplayer Support or Survivor Support Network, CSSN. And she goes to cons and makes sure that their like harassment policy is up to date. That really includes everything. Because cosplay is not consent is great. I'm glad that they spread the message, but it doesn't mean that everything's covered in the rules for you. So if you're going through something, there needs to be something in place that says like, if somebody does this to you, this is what happens, and like this is who you can go to, and knowing that you have a group. But anyways, we see that happen a lot, and luckily, like, you know, if you go to a con, you see someone being bothered by somebody a little too much. Like, it's always okay to kind of like go over there and kind of give them an out. We've seen a girl like where this guy just would not leave her alone, and we're like, hey, oh my god, like, hey, your costume is, if something's fallen off, do you want to come to the bathroom with me, or do you want to come over here with me? I'll help you fix it. And we just kind of like girl hoard her away from the dude. And sometimes it's just like support numbers. But I don't know if I'm rambling. I think it's a sickness. Sorry, guys.
No, go for it.
So let me know if I'm making sense or not. But there's that end of it, and then there's also like people online that'll they'll either be say awful things to you because you're dressed sexy, or like drag you through the mud about it too. So we see that in comics too, right? And I just want to tie it back, but like the whole like this character's sexy versus this character's over sexualized. And I'm like, what is not enough for you? People, comic book people, like geeks and nerds, either like, especially with Starfire, I hear that a lot. I'm gonna sneeze.
Go for it.
Please talk.
Sorry.
Sorry, guys. I'm doing my best, and that's why I feel like I'm being like delirious right now. So I hope I'm making sense, you guys.
No, you're making perfect sense. But I am actually, I'm surprised. Like, not surprised. I mean, I wish I was surprised. But the whole idea of that there is actually a community that exists to help people like cosplay for this assault survive. Like for their supporting of that, because that just takes the whole fun and joy out of con. Like it's just so why
you should be able to cosplay any character you want, regardless of your body type, your gender, your sexuality, like your race, anything. And you should be able to feel comfortable because we're all there to be geeks and nerds and have fun. So like, we need to stop having these like people that go out of their way to make situations toxic and uncomfortable for people, or gatekeepers who are like, that cosplay isn't exact. Quick story. Again, I'm just rambling, so you're welcome, guys. That's what today is. I'm just gonna talk and ramble. So I posted a picture, so everybody knows. Yesterday we had a Halloween party with Omar, and our co-host for Old Reader, New Reader, and Near Mint Condition, a whole bunch of other people. And we did a big Teen Titans group. I was Wonder Girl, like original Donna Troy Wonder Girl, with like the little tank top and the blue and white star, like bikini bottom, and like her hair up and stuff. I don't have a figure for her.
But you look awesome.
But the original. Thank you. So, speaking of people who like are jerks, someone messaged me. I guess I posted a picture on my cosplay group, and I posted on Omnibus Collectors group.
Right.
So it could be from either group. I don't know.
Oh,
and some guy was like, "I'll look later," and he was like, just my 2 cents. But if I were you, I would add lines onto that because it looks kind of like, onto the symbol on her shirt, because it looks like Iron Fist. But that's just my unsolicited advice. And I'm like, yes, it is your unsolicited advice. I made this myself today. I sewed it myself. So big old middle finger to you, bud. I'm going to live my life.
Why?
People be like, hey, I thought you should know. Like, that's not how you do that. Rude. I just finished my costume. I was very happy about it. Step off.
Like, no, not just that. It's like, why does it matter?
It's a Halloween costume. It's not my con.
Like,
even if it was.
You're not. This is not a movie or a TV show that you're going to, and it's okay. Hey,
it's good enough.
Like, no, hey, have some imagination. Like, what? Like,
where's your Wonder Girl costume?
Like, yeah, make your own Wonder Girl costume. The one that really, like, speaking of harassment, and that toxic people are just toxic, no matter who they're directing it at.
Oh yeah.
Like, I've seen this. I actually, I was so upset that I didn't get to take a picture of him, but he was dressed up as Wonder Woman from the movie, and he had a full beard. Like, he was like rocking it. Like,
I love it.
He was just rocking it, just going around, just owning it, like, just walking around, having his good time. There's like, and then these people are just sniggering behind him. Like, it's like, oh, like, well, look at that Wonder Woman. And it's like, I actually wanted to just be like, hey, get out of here. Like, but he just walked past, and I was waiting in line with a couple books, and I couldn't step out of the line to take a picture of him. And I don't know, like, it just like, oh, come on. Someone is just enjoying. Like, I just don't understand this point of view. Like, you're like, that's what con is for. It's like a giant mega convention center where hundreds and thousands of people there just doing their thing, having a good time. And then one person just decides to, just burge into other person's enjoyment. Like, it just, the idea of that, it just so pissed off, but well, but I like that idea that you were talking about, like, just hoarding people away from like a uncomfortable situations and stuff. I'm going to keep my eye out, and I'm probably going to do that too.
That's the other thing too, is like, any people that get made fun of, I would go to them like, hey, can I take your photo? You look amazing. Like,
yeah.
You look great. Here's my positive, because a lot of times, and I see this in the group too, in our different groups and circles and comic book fans alike, if somebody's really, really likes something, somebody else will just shit on it. and just be awful or rude or whatever.
Right.
And there's better ways to talk to people. Just be like, hey, that's cool. I'm glad you enjoy it. Maybe it wasn't for me.
Yeah, like I actually like one of the things that I always do is that unless someone say, "What did you think about it?" I never provide my opinion. Unless it's good. Unless like it's really definitely good, I'll provide my positive opinion, but my negative opinion, I'm just going to keep it to myself unless someone specifically asked, "What did you think about it?" That's when I would probably say that, "Oh, it wasn't for me for A, B, C reason." I see like, I post a lot of review and there's like a lot of people that just like, I hated it. You know what? Go hate it somewhere else because it's fine that you hated it, but give me the reason why. So someone else might actually be like, I am, because, typically when I love something, I'll be like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. Everyone should read it.
Yeah.
But, if someone hated it, provide why you hated it because it's probably going to be helpful for someone. First of all, make your own post and say why you hated it. But
yeah, or I mean, you can still talk about like, hey, it wasn't for me. I didn't really like these things.
Right.
But there's a difference between being like, hey, I don't really like this, or like, hey, you suck.
I hated those.
Like, you have shit taste. You know what I mean? Unless it's your fan and you're joking. Like, I think we could talk like that to each other. I could talk to Omar like that.
Yeah, I don't think anybody ever. Yeah, I don't think anybody ever said that. Oh, you have shit taste. Unless unless it's Philip. I'm on to you, Philip. Like he's watching right now. But no, even though he's amazing. No, but the thing is, like, other than that, but it's like I would only just say shit talk about something that I know could be problematic elements. But even then, unless someone asks for it, keep my opinion to myself. Like, I'm gonna be like, hey, this is why A, B, C, D reason I hated this, or I didn't like this, or this wasn't for me, or hey, maybe you should be reading it digitally before you're spending money on it. There's like a whole different ways of. But anyway,
we're be like, hey, I really didn't like it at all, or I hated it, but give it a try. Maybe you'll like it. I don't know.
Yeah, well, next week, or even if Kristan shows up today, we're gonna talk about one that I hated.
That's why I'm still laughing because I've got. I just picked up that copy of Joyride, which I'm gonna read, but I'm never gonna talk about on the show because, like,
I hated it. I didn't like it.
I'm gonna get in between the two of you in this book.
Because we're thinking about having a spin-off series of like 15 minutes of episode where it's like, we call it like sister fights. Like when two of us fight passionately about something and Maddie is like the middle person.
Well, what's funny is like our tastes are fairly similar. There may be things that one person liked a lot more than the other person. Right. It's very rare that one person's like, I hated this. The other person's like, I loved this, So you don't really have too much of that because, like, we're all very passionate people. Obviously, you guys watch the show, but, like, we're not that like that. It's just like, okay.
Yeah, but this is one I'm like, I'm fighting you to the death.
Yeah.
You're wrong.
I mean, I'd fight somebody over at Red Hood and the Outlaws. That's fine.
Oh, yeah, that one. I haven't read that one yet. I should. Then we
can get the omnibus. I have it, even though I have all the trades. Here it is.
Oh,
it's an ugly cover.
Oh, is that the omnibus that, sorry, is that the book that everyone hates?
Yeah.
Okay.
The new one's really, like, this is not going to be for everybody. Like, I can tell you all the reasons why it's really good, but it's not for everybody. But a lot of people fight about Starfire. That's another whole, like, over-sexualized, like, why is she having sex? Because she can, and she's on a breakup, and it's consensual. Shut up. Anyways, but people are like that. Like, I can't stand it because, like, she, like, had sex with Arsenal. Oh my god. Like, she only had sex with one dude in that whole stupid comic. Did you guys not read it? Well, she's, like, barely covered and she's very sexualized. Yeah, she always has been, and her morals are different. She's an alien, okay? Who cares?
Shut up, people!
Shut up. Teen Titans was not regular Starfire, okay? It's a great show, but, like, she's not like that.
Oh my god. Like, the thing is, like, I would rather take a consensual, like, a character that is consensual having consensual sex and extremely like sexualized because of her own, versus a character that just sex has nothing to do with them and have a sexual assault history in their life for who knows what reason, and then also like for no reason at all just sitting there in a boardroom with her tits hanging out. Like, hey,
Yeah.
it doesn't happen.
But
Like,
see,
Maria Hill.
That's the difference. You can have a sexy character who owns their sexiness. You know, like Red Sonia, she's super open about sex.
Right.
And she's a very sexy character. Like, if I hadn't read her book, I could see where somebody would see a picture of her and be like, okay. But she's not like that. You know, it's different. It's like how they're drawn. Like, it's like Jessica Rabbit, right? In that movie where she's like, I'm not bad, I'm just drawn that way. And that's how it is. Like that one comic book artist, I never know his name, the one who, like, would draw his characters based off, like, porn star images or whatever.
Great Glenn.
Yeah. Yeah. So...
No,
anyways,
but the thing is, like, no, that's what's her name? Maria Hill. In one of the, I was like, oh, get out of here! Like, she's sitting in a boardroom. Like, she's the head of director of Shield, sitting in a boardroom, and her zippers all the way to her belly button. I'm like, we don't do that. Like, women don't do that. It's like, it doesn't happen that way. Get like. Come on, have you never talked to a woman? Are you married? Who are you? What's this? Like that bothers me. That bothers me. Versus, like, if Starfire going around and being sexy, it's okay. It's okay.
I can get that. That doesn't bother me as much. But I always wonder, though, because we've talked before about, like, what we like and how we feel about stuff.
Right.
You can also relate to, like, what we've grown up on or anything else. But I've always been a big anime fan, and none of those girls' outfits make sense. They never have. Everyone's just naked all the time for no reason. Boob physics, how do they work? I don't know.
Boob.
And people cosplay that shit. People cosplay that stuff. I'm like, girl, how are you gonna get your boobs up there? And then they do. or they make fake ones. That's the new thing in the cos community. Okay, guys, like, sometimes they're not real. They're just, like, sewn together and put on, but you never know. It's amazing.
Hey, listen, okay. I saw, speaking of lady, like, I don't know her, so I can't, like, credit her properly, but I saw this one lady in New York Comic Con. She just had latex, like, the whole thing was latex stuff. Like, that's the only thing. And I was like, props.
That skill. I don't have that skill.
I can never do that, but I'm like, props, lady. And then, and then she was like, she was taking, like, she was actually posing in Marvel, and I think she is a Marvel character. I couldn't place who that is, but she was in the Marvel booth. She was posing. There was like a giant group of, like, all the typical nerds that usually don't see sunshine unless like, there's a con happening in town. That's when they came out and they were taking pictures and stuff. I'm like, I'm pretty sure there's, like, porn, that thing. You can just look for naked girls and in internet. I mean, sometimes I feel like I just walk up to them like, hey, that those snake shits are free now, right? Like, every time there's, like, someone posted, like, oh yeah, there's this comic book with, like, just naked girls in, like, art book, and I'm like, fuck that. And then everyone just commenting, and then I'm like, why are you this shit is free now? Hey, this shit is free. But anyway, all right. Well, one other question that I had about, like, cosplaying and stuff. So how I saw that, the wonderful, the costume that you put together, the sewing and everything. And even though it didn't have the right mark, Maddie, I mean,
it did. He was looking at the wrong art. Excuse me, I'm #1 Donna Troy fan. Boy can step off.
I mean, you made it look like Iron Fist. It's no wonder.
Yeah, I was like, and I looked at his thing later. I was like, bro, you don't even know about Iron Fist. And also, I don't care about that scrub. Please.
Right. So how does one put together a costume? Like, what kind of skills are we talking about? Or, what's, like, the best way? Because I see some that is, like, more... No, I see some that feels a little more plasticky, and you feel like, oh, you just, like, it just doesn't look good versus like, that these person have put a lot of heart in it. So how does like, how does one pick a costume and make it? I mean, what I'm asking, how do I make a Kamala Khan costume? That's what
Okay, so here's I'll tell you what I do. Okay, because I'm not a purist as far as like I've got to make everything myself.
Right.
And also, I'll never give anybody else shit or make fun of them or bully them if they don't make it their own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, or if they don't, or if they do make their stuff and maybe it's not the same level as like a pro, because we're all on our own journey to figure that out. But I do a bit of everything. So sometimes I buy pre-made costumes. So I go to meekcostumes.com. That's the one I usually go to a lot because the costumes are pretty good quality. Sometimes they're not exactly correct, but they're good enough and they fit well, and you can always make adjustments if you need to, and they're pretty inexpensive comparatively. So I'll buy pre-made costumes like that. So I bought the one that people would know here, Catwoman in Batman Ninja. So her outfit I have now, and I'll wear it to my next con in December. And I bought just completely pre-made from them, and I loved it. And then you always have to make sure to like really finish the look, buy a nice wig, and maybe contacts, because that's always a nice addition. But sometimes I make my own stuff too, which, depending on the character, is a combination of a whole lot of stuff. But if you need armor or props or anything, then you've got to like buy foam mats and heat guns and cement glue and a whole bunch of stuff. It is like Dremels and a lot of power tools. But also I commission it too. So if there's a costume that I don't feel I can't buy, or it's only like bad sites that are selling it, because sometimes you look online to go buy a costume, it just looks really cheap.
That's what I'm talking about.
So, and if I don't want to make it myself, I don't have the skill, because that happens too. I'm like, I just don't think this is something I can put together myself, or I don't want to. Sometimes I just don't have the time. I'll commission someone to make it for me.
So where do you find people? Go for it. Sorry,
I can always recommend people, by the way. But there's also like on Facebook, there's oh my gosh, my nose, a cosplay commissions group.
Oh, okay.
And it's pretty great because the admins of that Facebook group also like thoroughly check their commissioners before they let the commissioners even post or anything in the group. So in order to like be like an accepted commissioner in that group, you have to have done so many commissions already, have like a website or a Facebook page where you've documented those costumes. Sometimes there's like reviews required or something like that. So they're already like vetted before you talk to any of them, so you kind of know what you're getting. And a lot of times I just have friends I know that do commissions, like armor commissions, wig commissions, costume commissions. So I have somebody making a bunch of my wigs for MagFest, which is in National Harbor, Maryland. But yeah, you can do it any way you want, wherever your level is, wherever your budget is at. There's always an option for you, whether it's just like, if you want to make it, there's a ton of tutorials now on YouTube. It's very easy to learn how to make stuff. And if you want to just commission it, not worry about it, that's super doable. Or if you don't have the budget and you need to buy a pre-made, that's fine, because commissions will be expensive.
So there's like, I'm actually kind of fascinated. Like there's this whole universe of cosplay and the community of it. So at what point you would say that you're just going too far, you're spending too much, it's just going too far? Like what's the acceptable kind of I'm asking the level between that, oh, you were just doing it, that's like from your heart, versus, oh, now you're just doing it, that you're going overboard.
Okay, so there's a few things I would say that, like, if I see it, I'm like, okay, you're going overboard. Because I don't think, if you just do a bunch of it, that's fine. But if you're doing it to the detriment of your own health or finances, that's a problem. That happens a lot. So you see people, like, going to all these cons, and they'll be like, I don't have money to pay for this. Can you guys, and they said, like, a GoFundMe or something. That's a problem. Because you need to give up your hobbies and get your stuff figured out. But there's also people that like that take it too seriously. You know, it should be for fun. Maybe you're not going to get a big following on social media. You know, some people do, some people don't. That's life, you know. But if you base all of your happiness for this hobby on how many likes you get, you know, maybe that's not why you should do it. You should just, you're forgetting about what's fun about it. You know, being the character and being with your friends in cosplay. Those are my only two instances of going too far. Because if you do it all the time, I go to like 10 conventions a year and dress up, you know. I also do cosplay photography, so, you know, I hold shoots for cosplayers and do those things. I have a ton of costumes. I buy a ton all year. Like, I keep having new ones all the time.
Right.
That's fine. You know, if it makes you happy and it's not hurting anybody, go for it. But if you don't have the money to pay for your stuff and like you're like starving yourself to go to cons, maybe rethink that.
Does it happen a lot?
Oh, all the time, especially with younger people or people that feel like they've got to do it. Like they want to be a professional cosplayer, which is hard to do. You know, like that's not for everybody. And that's not going to be, that doesn't mean, that's not always a viable career, you know? Sometimes you just get lucky.
So yeah, that's also another one that I wanted to ask about. Like, how does one become a professional cosplayer, and what does it entail? Like,
so there's a lot of ways. So sometimes if you're just very, very skilled cosplayer, you can, and you get very famous or something, you can get paid to go to conventions.
Ooh.
Or you can go to conventions and sell prints of your costumes, or sell like books or something. A lot of people do Patreon now. So they'll do like, for certain tiers, you can get like, you can request the cosplay they make, or they'll send you photos every month, or like videos, or like Snapchats or tutorials. A lot of people do it for tutorials, which I like. I'll follow cosplayers if they and pay for their Patreons if they give me tutorials for their work at the same time. It's like watching their progress. And it just depends. Some people do more like sex work type of things. And when I say sex work, I don't mean like, you know, cam girl stuff, or well, sometimes I guess, or like actual sex. You know, I mean like lewds. So they'll cosplay things and do like sexy poses in them, or maybe be nude, and there'll be photos like that, or like Snapchat videos or something. And I've taken those photos too for people, because that's pretty big. A lot of people do those kind of Patreons for things, or sell like prints, or like Polaroids and stuff. And those people usually give them a lot of flack. They're like, oh, well, it's not real cosplay, you're just being sexy. I'm like, who cares? They have fun. Their followers like it. They're having a good time.
And also they're making money, so shut up.
And they're making money. Yeah, exactly. So like, go for it. Who cares? You feel comfortable in your body? That's super cool. Do it. You know, like, who cares? But yeah, those are the ways that it happens.
So is it like something that you can make a full-time career out of? Like, you know, this is what you do. Like, those people, this is what they do for their job.
Absolutely.
Oh,
because some people make like $3,000, $4,000 a month on Patreon.
Oh wow!
You know,
okay.
Or even more. And so a lot of these people are getting paid to like fly across the world at conventions and appear, and they'll sell out on prints. I mean, they do amazingly, and that's rare. That's not everybody, but it's a lot of people now. Like, you know, they have a lot of fans and they're big. It's a whole new business. Like, cosplay is a major, major business now on all fronts. You know, you have the cosplay models making money, you have the makers making money, photographers. Some people just do cosplay photography all year and do pretty good. Like, you can do all sorts of stuff now.
So is this like a new phenomenon, or this has been around quite a while, but it was just too niche?
It's been around a long time, but it really blew up in the past like 5 or 6 years. I think the internet helped out that a lot, but like, because cosplay's been around a long time, Japan kind of got the big cosplay idols first. Because I have a lot of books. Let me grab this one. Ooh. But like, they would have cosplay books like this, and sell those with prints and stuff in it. And this is a much older one. I don't even know when I got this. Like years and years ago, probably like high school or something. But now it's a big, big thing because there's more and more cons everywhere all the time. I mean, they're just getting bigger and bigger all over the world. And all of the, like with Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, like you can really, really blow up now with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so what would be like a con that is there cons that are dedicated to just cosplay, or it's kind of like
kind of. So not exactly. There are more cons showing up that are for like cosplay and photography. But they're few and far between. There's not as many. But there are some cons where you see more cosplayers and other things. So KatsuCon is a really big one. KatsuCon and then ColossalCon. So KatsuCon is also in National Harbor, Maryland at the Gaylord. I do not go to that because it is crazy busy. There's a lot of good photo spots, and it's a lot of big cosplayers go, and a lot of big photographers go. So if you get in, like, if you have a really good KatsuCon cosplay or cosplay group or something really elaborate, and you get big, like if you end up in all the big Photogs photos or in all the big videos, cosplay music videos, you can get pretty big pretty quick. But all the big names go to that one. And then ColossalCon, which is closer to me, it's in Ohio, is at a water park, which is great. It's so much fun. And people make swimsuit versions of cosplays, so that's a big deal too. So they have their swimsuit versions of cosplays, and then they have they'll do more elaborate ones like out in the grass fields, and there's like a ton of photographers everywhere. And I'm one of those photographers too, so it's like we all have our equipment out. Everyone's just like posing and doing all, it's a riot. It's so much fun. And then everybody's drunk, which is great.
Hold up. Is there Captain America swimsuit cosplay?
Absolutely, Fariha. Oh my God. Of course. Of course.
When is this
whole Marvel groups with like, and it's fun because since it's swimsuit themed, you have like your themed shorts or whatever, but then you also have like water guns, and like frisbee shields, and it's really good.
When is this con? I'm gonna be there.
It's in June of every year, but I am going to 2 different. I'm not going to that one this year, but I'm going to 2 different like resort conventions: YetiCon in Canada, and then ColossalCon East in the Poconos. And those are both like swimsuit conventions. I think you'd have a riot. It's so much fun. Everyone's in cosplay. Everyone's drinking in the hot tub bar. It is amazing. It's hilarious.
Just send me the details. I'll be there with you, as your camera woman person, as your caddy.
Yeah. All of you listeners should go because I need more comic book fans there. Because when I cosplay comic book stuff at those cons, nobody knows. Like I had swimsuit Donna Troy. When I say Donna Troy, I mean not original Wonder Girl. I mean this one. And it was like nobody knew who it was. I was like, oh, cool. Thanks.
So is this kind of frowned upon in the cosplay community if you're cosplaying as someone and you don't know their history? Or it's something that's just like it's considered frowned upon?
Oh, no. It's just like it's always a bummer for you, like the cosplayer, more than other people. Like
no. I'm just talking about like let's say you walk up to someone, they're like, oh, I don't know, I just dressed up like this because it looked cool. Does that happen a lot?
That does happen.
And then
and honestly, it's something we've talked about in the community. If you want to cosplay as something you don't even know it because you like the design, that's okay. Now, me personally, I believe that and I agree with that because everyone should have fun. You shouldn't dog anybody for cosplaying whatever. It will break my heart if I'm cosplaying from that same thing and I see you and you're like, don't know what it is, and you're cosplaying from it too, because I always get really irrationally upset for no reason. So I cosplay from One Piece. I love One Piece. Big fan. I've talked about it before. I cosplay Frankie and I cosplay Nico Robin. For anybody who's listening, you might know that. And I'll see people cosplay the main character because it's very easy to put together. It's like a straw hat and like a red sleeveless shirt and shorts. It's pretty easy. A lot of people do it. And I'll be like, hey, and I'll do the pose, or I'll say like one of the catchphrases, and they'll just be like, and I'll get irrationally upset, like, how dare you? Or if I notice somebody in a cosplay that's very obscure that I know the thing of, that I know nobody else will and nobody cosplays from it, if I get very excited and they're like, don't acknowledge that I'm excited about it, I'll be livid. So like one girl at a con, she was cosplaying from a video game called Chrono Cross. It's very niche. I don't think a lot of people play it, but and nobody cosplays from it, especially like a minor character. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're cosplaying Chrono Cross. That's amazing. I'm a huge fan. You look great. And she's just like, I was like, you bitch. I'll never ask you for a photo again. I didn't say that out loud, of course, but my inner dramatic monologue of me is like, how dare you? Nobody would know who you're from. You're lucky you even found me. Do you know who I am? As if this self-entitled. I would never say that ever, but my inner monologue is that.
Yeah, but I actually one time, I don't remember, was it like Awesome Card or whatever it was? So this guy, he was actually dressed up as Darkseid. Is it Darkseid or Darkseid?
Darkseid.
Darkseid. He was dressed up as Darkseid. And he had Thanos's, like, he had the Infinity Gauntlet. So that was awesome, right?
Yeah.
Because, so I walked up to him, I'm like, oh, so you defeated Thanos then? Like, you know, and he just looked at me, he's like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. My girlfriend put this together for me. And I was devastated.
That's always a bummer. Like, I'm one of those people that'll put people in costumes for me, though, so I understand that. Like,
you know, I'm absolutely devastated. I'm like, like, you know, and then I didn't get to see the girlfriend, so I would kind of, you know, I was ready to walk up to her like, dump this bitch. Like
you need to teach your man. Teach him the ways of the comics.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, yeah, irrational, like, you know, outrage. Irrational outrage.
Of course.
Like, but I was like, oh, man, because that was so awesome, right? Like, it's like, oh, yeah, you know, he's Darkseid, but, you know, he got the Infinity Gauntlet. That means he beat Thanos, right? It's amazing. It's an amazing thinking, but oh my God. But then another one that, you know, we kind of discussed about, there's this whole community of cosplayer who are hijab, like they wear hijab and they cosplay. One of the ones that I saw that was very awesome. And once again, you know, I have actually decided that from now on, I'll ask their name and if they have Instagram so that I know how to properly credit them for things. But it was this wonderful lady. She dressed up as Joker. And
so good.
And then just being Joker, like, you know, with a hijab and everything. And that, you actually opened my eyes to this community as well, because I didn't know that there were ladies like that who are doing this. And they were actually featured in one of the one of the page I follow, Heroic Girls. They kind of did like the whole bunch of them from NYCC got together, took pictures, and they look so awesome. Like it's perfectly incorporated in their cosplaying, which is just fantastic.
It's so cool. Like I love it. I love it. That's, you know, I love cosplay so much because I feel like anyone can do it. You know, and if there's anything about a costume that doesn't make you feel comfortable, you can change it however you want. It doesn't matter. A bunch of nerds dressing up as stuff. And if you want to like, if you want to combine this character with a different style, or if you want to do like, I don't know, I've seen like She-Hulk, Wonder Woman. Go for it. Who cares? Like, have fun. Makes you feel comfortable. It makes you feel happy. Have like a great time.
As a matter of fact, I actually seek those out because those actually are far more creative to me than just a straight up, I'm just doing this. Because that to me, it doesn't, like, you know, as wonderful it is and as great as it is, but it's still not, I feel like there's like a creative warmth that's missing. I saw this one lady, she was dressed up as a opera singing Thor. Like she had the helmet and everything.
Yes.
And then, but she had like, you know, she kind of dressed like it was, the dress was like, I have to find the picture. And I took a picture of them because there was like a Thanos guy walking around, and then I got them together. And then I took a picture because they were just kind of posing. Hang on, let me find this. It's gonna be a little awkward.
That's
But
okay.
anyway,
Well,
yeah,
okay, I can talk
here,
about. Okay,
look at this. Can you see it?
I love that. That's amazing.
I mean, just look at them. They were just like, she just dressed up as like an opera singing whore.
I love it.
There was a Loki. Oh yeah. Oh okay. So she and her sister. Look at that. Like her
Oh my
sister as
God.
Loki. That was just amazing. To me, that's way more creative. Like that's just, that just takes the cake. Like to be able to do that, and they were like embracing it. I'm like, yes. Like that's what fun is all about.
Something I wanted to bring up because we're talking about the burqa cosplays. The Wonder Woman burqa. So I have that book.
Oh
It's
yeah.
in Wonder Woman Earth 1, Volume 2. I haven't read this one yet, although I loved the first volume.
Yeah.
At the end of it, they had this idea for like how Wonder Woman would dress, how Diana would dress if she was in the Middle East or certain like countries where like modesty is preferred. Because Diana is very much about like dressing to fit whatever culture she's in because she feels herself, she's an ambassador to the world
Right.
from the mascara. But like the designs for that were so cool.
Oh my God.
I remember you posting about it, and it's beautiful. Like I was really excited about this, and also because the writer and artist went out of their way to talk to a Muslim friend who was also an artist.
Yeah, Sonia
Anwar. Yeah.
So
before making that design, which I think can more creators do that, please? Like, go talk to your friends, please, before you do stuff. I loved it.
So can you clarify me? Is it Yannick Patek? But Yannick, what's the artist name?
Yeah, Yannick Paquette.
Yannick Paquette. So Yannick Paquette also drew Swamp Thing by Snyder, and it's amazing. Like he does amazing work, and so it was really warmed my heart to see that he's like, oh, then I wasn't sure how to do this, so I went and talked to my friend Sonia, and apparently they shared their studio together and stuff. And this is Sonia Anwar. So I actually got to meet her at the New York Comic Con, and she's really fun. She's really amazing, and I think she does mostly cover work so far.
Yeah,
her commission spot is filled, I think, at the end of next year. Like she's so popular, and if you go there and see the prints and the things that she do, you would be like, oh, I see. Yeah, I see.
Yeah,
like I can see like why you were so why you were so popular and stuff. Like she's amazing. So yeah, that's we actually wanted to talk about that. Like that collaboration. That's like a perfect idea of like coming together and making something like getting an input from a diverse community. Like
yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with like opening up and being like, I don't know exactly how to do this and do it justice, but I'd like to explore this story, right?
Right.
You talk to somebody. You like talk to a more like a friend who that idea or character or setting represents, right? There's nothing wrong with collaborating with somebody before you go forth with that, like in any realm,
Right.
And
that was like I really enjoyed that, and so I actually want to get that Wonder Burqa for my mom. Like I really do. So my mom is like she's practicing. She practices the wearing hijab and everything. So I really want to get her that scarf because she loves a little bit colorful scarves and stuff. So now it's my kind of my thing. Like I'm like I need to actually find one of your costume commissioners and get them to design that so
pretty.
Me. Yeah, she'll look awesome. She'll rock it. My mom will rock it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, like, yeah, I mean, there's no way I can ever get her to come to a con with me. She doesn't know this lifestyle I have, like this other life I have. But it would be kind of fun to give it to her.
Man, I would love to get my mom to go. Like, she took me my first con ever in high school, which was very nice of her. The poor thing. She stayed, like, we got a hotel room. She brought a couple of friends. Like it was great. And she was totally out of her element. She's just like, what is this? I was so happy. He's very supportive of her. And my sister does that for my niece and takes her to cons. And she's always just like, what the hell? But, I mean, goes with her. I'm like, thank you for supporting this weird lifestyle we're all in.
Yeah, but my mom would not be, as forgiving as we are about cosplayers. So
Yeah.
there is that.
Sometimes you really see some stuff at cons.
Yeah,
Or
and
you smell some stuff.
my mom would not be happy. But anyway, by the way, off track. I see that you have a very nice Wonder Woman cover book behind you.
I do. It was a wonderful gift from my wonderful friend Fariha. Thank you. Wait, let me get up here. Yeah. I was so excited. I was like dying for it to come in, and it finally did. I kept checking my mailbox. I was like, is it here? Is it here? Is it here? And it was. So, Fariha picked this up for me. Thank you so much. It's a collection of Jenny Frisson's cover art. So Jenny Frisson is like my favorite cover artist. I'll even buy books if she's on the cover. I don't know anything about it. I'm like, well, Jenny did the cover, so I'll pick it up. But she's been doing the Wonder Woman variant covers, which I collect. I need to do a video of like all my room and setup at some point.
Please do.
Because I have an area of my bedroom that I call the Wonder Wall. It's like framed Jenny Frisson covers of Wonder Woman. But it's beautiful. And so I wish more artists did this, and maybe they do. But Jenny has this thing called Judge Books by Their Covers, and this is volume 9.
Right.
And, I mean, her art is just breathtaking. It kills me. It's so nice. And especially this one. I had to buy this one, put on my wall. It's Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor. Because
my shipper in me just died.
I ship it so much.
Oh my god! In the Rebirth, there was the Steve Trevor. I'm like, is this Captain America? I was just the whole time, and he's like, they're both Steve, and then he was bearded and everything. Like,
they're very similar. I feel like, especially with like origins. Both being in the military and being that kind of like good old boy type.
I loved it. And the thing is, like, at the end of Rebirth, this is the kind, like, they get together. I'm like, you know how much I love good-looking people getting it on. I loved it so much.
And I love them being together. I love them.
Like, I'm like, I can't have Wonder Woman and She-Hulk together, so I'll settle for this. Like, I'll just settle for this. Like, my friend and I, we were laughing our head off in Wonder Woman, the movie. Like, how he just kind of walked up to her room, and then they gave each other a look, and he just like, I'm like, oh, quite ballsy, aren't you? Because she can just break you in half. But you're like, nope, let's do this.
I mean, she really. After reading Red Sonia by Gail Simone, which Jenny Frisson also does the covers for.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to have a crossover. I want Wonder Woman and Red Sonia to have like just a one-shot crossover, because I feel like they'd super get along. And Wonder Woman and Conan have a crossover.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's like a Wonder Woman and Conan. Like,
give me my Wonder Woman Red Sonia ship that I didn't know that I had until after I read it.
Yeah, but I'm glad that your friend got that cover book for you.
I know, right? My wonderful friend Fariha.
But then, did you see that she also signed it for you, though?
Yes, thank you. Oh.
Yeah,
I'm so happy.
But I
was waiting to be here forever.
I have actually kind of told her, I'm like, you should do like a proper hardcover of all 9 volumes. Like, if she kickstarts it, I'll go ahead and buy it.
Yeah, like, honestly, if I were her, I would just try to kickstart and just see. If it doesn't go anywhere, you just get your money back or something, right? Just see if I.
Oh, I highly doubt that she's not gonna have a successful Kickstarter of that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I know, but I would love to have all those covers, especially like and like that's one of the reasons that I wait for the Rebirth deluxe for Wonder Woman, because I want to have all the variant covers at the back.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna pick those up once that run's done, because I can't wait for the hardcovers of Wonder Woman. So I buy the trades.
Mm.
Are you? Man, she does like a ton of art for stuff. Huh? What?
No, I'm just saying that. Are you enjoying after Raka left the Rebirth?
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, because people say that it's not that good.
Wonder Woman. So I can see where it's not as good as Rucka's writing, because I love Rucka. But I think that's one of those cases where I love her so much that maybe I won't notice. Right. I'm just happy that I have more material for her.
That's how Captain America and I like.
Yeah.
I would read anything. I'm like, this is so bad, but oh my god, you know. So
Just happy to see her. You know?
yeah, that's kind of how I am with that. So I completely understand. But I'm glad that it reached you safe. Thanks you for letting me know, Maddie, that you got the package. I sent you.
Sorry. It's been such a crazy weekend. Well, because I got the package and then I had to go to the party. And I've been sewing all day. So it's like, yeah, I got the books. Okay, now I have to go. And I was already dressed up. I had my little shorts on. I was already in Donna Troy when the packages came, and he brought it to my door. The guy, because like my roommates got packages too. He's like, I was confused because there's 3 different names. And so I opened the door. I'm in full costume, these little like shorts, and this Donna Troy like, oh yeah, that's for me. At least it's October. It's really awkward when this happens other times of the year. Because I'll have cosplay shoots in my house all the time.
Right.
So I'm shooting all sorts of stuff in the backyard. Like, I'm sure everybody thinks my house is really weird because there's people in face paint coming in and out, like all sorts of people. Like, they probably think there's something up with us. But we just have cosplay going on.
Hey, listen, embrace it. Embrace your weirdness. So apparently you got a lot of comics. So I don't know if Kristan will be actually joining us today, but if you got a lot of comics, just show us off. And there's like a couple of books that I wanted to talk about.
I will do it. Let me try to see this. Okay. So, oh my gosh, I'm going to die here. Okay. So I went to Half Price Books and picked up a bunch of stuff. So I picked up Clean Room. It's written by Gail Simone. I haven't read it yet, but it looks really cool. I really love the art so far. So I think it's going to be a good fit. I heard it's a good, like, creepy book. So I thought it'd be good for this month. I also got from you for picking it up for me. Thank you. Amy Chu's Red Sonia run. So I had just finished Gail Simone's Red Sonia run, which I absolutely loved, and I needed more Red Sonia in my life. Now, I've read one other book by Amy Chu before, and it's her Poison Ivy book.
Okay.
Which is really good. So I'm really excited about this. I can't imagine Red Sonia in the modern world, which I guess is what this is about. Like, she ends up in, like, our world. And Red Sonja's, like, set in, like, a Viking kind of situation. So she's just, like, fighting other people with swords and stuff, right? I can't imagine how people in our world would deal with her. I would just marry her, personally. I'd be like, you go pillage, right? Come home. I'll make you a meal. What else did I get? Oh, very excited for Lady Killer Volume 2 because I hadn't read it yet.
Yes! That's amazing. Have you read Volume 1 yet?
Yes.
Okay.
I loved it.
It's one thing I would tell you, though, it leaves you with a cliffhanger and there's no Volume 3.
What? Are we not going to get a Volume 3?
No, because she moved on to Catwoman.
No, like, I'm glad she's writing Catwoman because Joelle Jones is perfect for it and I love her and worship her. But, like, girl, no. This book is great. You gotta finish it. It's so good.
But I think it's one of those things, like, you know, like creator-owned, like, this is her creator-owned stuff. So, you know, it's like, it kind of got her on the map. But now I think she's just moving on.
Well, maybe she'll come back one day.
But yeah, she left it in a way that you can either take it as like, oh, this is now it's your imagination that you kind of end it, or you can be like, oh, she will come back to it. I hope she does. I hope she does for one more arc to finish it and then, you know, to wrap it up before she goes on to move on to other greater things. But
me too. Joyride, because it was on Half Price Books for $5. So of course I can pick it up. I know. I also picked up, and I don't think you didn't like this series. I feel like.
Which one?
I think I read Revival.
Oh no! I liked it. All I say that they should have been 30. Like, instead of being, I think 40 issues or whatever, they should have been at least 10 issues shorter. Like, there's in the middle, it really dips. Like, you're like, okay, get to the point. So it suffers from that problem. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
So I had volume 1 and volume 3 because I found volume 3 for like $2 at a half-price books outlet. So I went up ahead and picked up 2 and 4. So I'm excited to actually read more of this.
So how many volumes are there, the trades?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Because I feel like there's more after this.
There's 4 deluxe. So.
Oh, okay. So maybe a lot. This is one that I feel like I'll just keep picking up at half price, or like if I feel like a deal on it. Because some series I'm not like, I don't have to have right away. But if they're on sale, I'm going to pick them up. So we've also been going through and picking up. Oh no! I dropped Miss Marvel. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. The dust jack is okay. It's fine. We've been finishing up our Buffy collection.
Oh, okay.
Trying to get that set before the move happens. From Dark Horse to Boom.
Mm-hmm.
So I picked up some of the Angel books.
Ooh, nice.
Because I want to pick up all the books that happen after the show ends. So it limits what I'm buying, so I'm not like collecting everything from the show, but everything that happens after I'm picking up. So we found all of these at Half Price Books. And they're really nice hardcovers.
And there's Kristan's man, David, on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but I feel bad for her because she had that bad experience with him.
No, it wasn't a bad experience. It was like, it was a mortifying experience.
Yeah, it was
mortifying for her, but fun for us to hear about it.
Yeah. Okay. So also, I'm just grabbing what I can grab from my shelf. I picked up Wonder Woman Conan.
Oh yeah, how is it? Have you read it?
I haven't read it yet, but Gail Simone writes it. I would have never picked this up if I hadn't read Red Sonja, because Conan and Red Sonja are the same universe. Right. From what I understand.
Right.
I've never read a Conan book. But seeing that Gail Simone wrote this gives me a little bit of faith, because I loved her Red Sonja run, and I love Wonder Woman. So I'm excited to see how this is. I did flip through it, and Wonder Woman has a really, really cool, barbarian type outfit in this, which I was like really digging. I'm not sure what it's about yet, but that's fine.
I think, from what I hear, it's pretty good. But do let me know, then I'll pick it up.
I will. And I also picked up Wonder Woman True Amazon. I know nothing about this book, but I've been seeing it around everywhere, and people have it on their lists and stuff for Wonder Woman books. It's written by Jill Thompson.
I met Jill Thompson in New York Comic Con. She's awesome. She's very, she had a lot to say.
Yeah.
1 minute I was standing in front of her in magnific signing.
Well, I'm really excited to read this because I'll pick up any Wonder Woman book. That's the one thing I like to collect. So, it's a beautiful book. Like, it feels beautiful. The cover's beautiful.
Let me know how that is.
I will.
I'm actually planning on also expanding my Wonder Woman collection as well.
Please.
Yeah, because I'm actually there is a lot of omnibuses coming out. There's a Phil Jimenez one, Brian Azzarello one. But I know there's a lot of offshoots, one-off series like this. So I would really love to see them. Read them.
Real quick, I want to apologize to everybody in the chat. My computer is frozen up to where I can't go look at YouTube to see everybody's chats right now. So normally I try to chat with everybody while the show goes on, but I can't do that. So if you're saying anything, I'm so sorry. I love you.
Someone said the Fariha Joyride is awesome. Whoever you are, you're wrong. It's Omnibus.
Also, I can't find my phone anymore because it's covered in tissues.
What? Say that again?
I can't find my phone anymore because it's covered in tissues. My life is sadness.
Someone said, hang on. What's happening right now?
I don't know. I'm going to try to pull up the chat on my phone.
Yeah, someone do this. I usually don't do this thing, so I'm not
I'm
very
gonna
good at
open it up.
this. Um,
Oh, okay.
and then
Uh,
oh, that is actually
yeah.
this is Omnidog, and I'm right. No, you're not, Jess. No, you're not. Well, no, Jess is awesome. Well,
Okay.
I actually
Good.
did make
Got the
my
chat open now.
amends. I brought him brunch, when he came to visit me in Baltimore because of my, bad, because I didn't like Joyride, so I make amends with him. So, still a bug. I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
so Tyler asked if we're both going to Lexington Comic and Toy Con. We are, Tyler. So we're the whole Kristen's coming in.
I'll be there.
Omar will be there. I think Omar convinced Jess. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, we're
We'll
all
be
gonna
there.
be there. So
So
if you
we
want
should
like the true fangirls experience,
come.
come hang out.
And
And
by the
also
way,
my co-host in my other show, Amanda, will also be there too.
which weekend was this?
I need to look at it. It's in April.
Oh, April. That's okay because I'm actually planning on going to C2E2 with a friend of mine.
Ooh, I want to go.
Well, come.
Okay, well if you go, I'll go.
Oh, okay, great. Because I don't know how far is it C2E2 from you.
It's not too far. Um, it's like a 6 hour drive, but it's like an hour flight.
Oh,
So if
okay.
you fly in, I think I'll try to like, and if it works out for my work and stuff, maybe I can fly at the same time, and then we can kind of figure out how to get
Maybe.
around from there.
Okay, perfect. Because
Oh,
we
Tyler says he's gonna go. Tyler, yay! Come hang
yay!
out with us. Let me meet you in person.
Yeah, Caltron, he's very awesome. So I'm actually, I'll be, it will be happy, like it will be fun to meet him. But things that I got, actually,
Let's
there's a
go.
couple of things I got that's over there, but I can't. I'm too lazy to get up and get it, and I don't also want to show my PJ because I'm actually wearing my PJ today.
Oh, how embarrassing. I can't believe you would be here in your PJs. I have a full stupid sloth thing. Look at this. Girl, I can't be in my PJs.
I'll show up my PJ. Okay,
Let me show
I'll
you
do
my
that.
sloth hands real quick. Sorry. This
Oh
is
my god, that's so cute.
Look at this. Okay, anyways, continue. I
Someone
just don't
said
want
in
you to
the
feel shame.
By the way, I don't know who this person is. Hang on. Someone said in the chat, where did it go? Oh, I lost it. Hang on. Because I
Someone
sent
said
a
we're
picture.
both pretty.
Huh?
Someone said that we're really pretty.
Oh
Which
yeah, that's the one I was looking at. So whoever you are, thank you.
it
Thank you
was
for the
Captain
compliment.
Picard from
Huh?
his username or her, I don't know, was Captain Picard from Star Trek Next Generation, and that was their profile picture
Nice.
too.
Nice. No, I mean I'm always like, someone said that these girls are too cute. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
We
they
are,
are too cute.
we love compliments around here. Just don't be creep, but just give us a nice compliment. I thought that was a nice compliment. I'll accept it. So I got sheets. Because Kristan talked a lot about it and I got it. It's awesome. I love it. I love it so much. I actually got it. I read it the same day. It's about this Kristan mentioned it, she done a wonderful job about describing it. It takes place in a laundromat, and there are sheets which are ghosts that comes to life at night, and they're sheets. And there's this awesome panel where I just love this so much. The sheet is ironing itself, and it's like, oh, that's the spot. It's
That's
so
cute.
And the thing is, you would think that this is a cute spree kind of book, but it's not, because it actually takes place in a laundromat, and then the girl, she's running the laundromat after her mother passed away, and there's this sleazy town person just trying to take it over. That there's this other world, like ghost and everything that happens. It's written by Brenna Tumblr, and this is her first book, and it's just so awesome. I loved every second of it. One of our regular listener, Mary, I think she's on the chat today as well.
Yeah, Mary just said Sheets is an awesome book, and
Yeah.
Tyler said he ordered it.
Yeah, because she actually got to meet Brenna at New York Comic Con, and got like and I'm now looking like frantically next year where Brenna's gonna be, so I can meet her as well and get it signed by her. And one of the first thing that it says, because I was instantly like obsessed with it, because it says like it's difficult to list in order the things that I hate, but I can say with no uncertainty that laundry and ghosts are currently tied for first. I mean, I hate laundry. I hate laundry so much. So I was instantly on board. But look at the drawing. Like it's just so perfect.
That's really nice.
And then there's this there's this different different color scheme for ghost and stuff. But what I love, they have like this ghost meetup, like helping sessions and stuff. And one of the posters says, "Don't give up the ghost."
Cute.
That's a song. So I loved it so much. So I highly recommend everyone. Then I also got this. I was really, really looking forward to it, and finally it's out, and I got it. Klaus, volume 2.
Oh my gosh. How is it? I read the first volume for the first time this week ever, and I love Christmas, and I love Santa. Also, I love bearded men. So I was all about this. How's volume 2?
Oh, I haven't read it yet because I'm waiting for Christmas to read both again. But
let's do a review for Christmas comics. Are there other Christmas comics, or is it just Klaus? That's probably just Klaus.
We're gonna find them, but that's okay. But the thing is, like, come on, who this reminds you of? This muscular, hunky, bearded man. Who does it remind you? Don't make that face. Don't make that face, Maddie. But I am just like, I mean, come on. I looked at this. I'm like, this is my man. This is Chris. And the whole time I was reading, seriously. So I read it like last winter, like around the Christmas time, and the whole time I was reading it, every time Klaus was on the panel, this is me. Total perv. Like, I mean, and I felt ashamed because then I walked by a mall Santa, like in a Salvation Army Santa. I'm like, like. But I love these books so much. Like, it's like done so well. I mean, look at like the golden like sheen.
I need it.
I love this. Like, I was so looking forward to it. So I'm really happy that finally.
Yeah, let's do a Christmas episode.
We will.
Matt Higgins says there's Lobo and Larfleeze have Christmas specials. Mary said Krampus. But yeah, I forget. Like, I have some DC the Christmas like annuals for those are really good.
Oh, there is one by Avengers Christmas annual. That was really not funny. So I really, but that's like a one shot. That's kind of one of the bad things.
That's most of them, I think. But that'd be fun.
The other one that I read recently, Loki, Agent of Asgard. Oh my god, I recommend everyone to read this book. If you are a Loki fan, Thor fan, Asgard mythology fan, Marvel fan, L. Ewing fan, like everyone, go out and read this. Like, I cried for Loki. Do you know how tough that is? I cried for Loki. And this was just so perfect. It was all about like, him fighting his own fate, free will and stuff. It's a direct sequel to Loki Journey into Mystery by Kieran Gillen. And what I really loved, there's like a sprinkle. This was coming out around the same time as Avengers, and there's like sprinkle of like movie Avengers, because it's like Hulk gets an arrow from Hawkeye. Is like, don't be angry, but he's like, but I'm always. And then he hulks up because I'm always angry from the movie. And then there's also this movie, that's kind of taken directly from the movie as well, like all the Avengers, the same exact Avengers from the movie, and then Loki just standing there's like a last shot of like Avengers movie. So there's like a lot of those, I said the word movie a lot, but
that's fun.
Like and I love that Loki is just so gender fluid in this. Like, bam, he's a man, bam, he's a woman, and he's like, embracing all of it, like, and having the time of his life. So there is that one. So we always recommend a lot of books here, but I'm going to unrecommend some books because people make.
Oh damn!
Yeah, I'm getting there because this book has gotten onto a lot of lists, and it apparently got a Booker Prize nominations and stuff. But then I'm like, this is why you shouldn't give, like, if some book got like too much hype, you shouldn't read them, because it's like Oscar movies equivalent. It's this one, Sabrina. I don't know. By Nick DiSarno. This is a book that's... So, if I show you this cover, okay, Maddie, you didn't heard about it, so you tell me, what do you think? What do you think the book is about? What do you think the story is?
It looks like it was set in like the 60s or 70s. It's about a girl with a really bad haircut, and her life is real lame. Am I right?
Wish. Hey, listen, if that's the story of this, I would be on board. I'd be like, oh, this is awesome. This is that's a good story. I honestly thought this is something for my Kick-Ass Ladies review series that I do in the group.
Oh.
Thank God I did it, because this has nothing to do with that. So I'm going to spoil this, because fuck this book. Don't read it. Don't buy it. Don't waste your time on this. This is about this chick gets kidnapped and murdered. Okay, that happens in the very beginning, and then it follows her sister, follows aftermath of this. And I mean, that's fine. That's a fine story to say. But instead of following her sister, who is going through, obviously, completely understandable, going through all these things, we follow her stupid boyfriend who doesn't have any personality, but personality of a cardboard box. He's equally personality-less, friend from high school who he hasn't talked with, and how he's dealing with it. That's the story. And then there's also this conspiracy theory bullshit, they just get the fuck out of here. I didn't need to read this. I didn't read this in my life, because you know what? Yes, this is what happens everywhere. There's nothing fantastic about it. This is something that happens all the time. Why am I reading this? Get this shit out of here. I hate this. I hated it. I hated it so much. I can't even feel good about selling this to people, because how bad this is.
Is this one of those books you just give away? I
can't give away, because it costs me money, and I don't want to give this away for free. It's free shit. I feel that's equivalent of me feeding to the waste treatment of Baltimore free shit that I'm giving them. No, it's so bad. I hated this book. I typically don't hate something. I hated this.
Oh, Mary says to pour your root beer on it.
No, that's Jess is watching. That's Jess's thing. I can't pour root beer on it. I have to do something different. What should be my thing? I should have a thing. But
do you have something you drink a lot?
Kool-Aid? No. What? No,
I don't know. Do you drink Kool-Aid?
No, I drink kombucha a lot, because I'm highbrow like that.
Well, kombucha's expensive, so don't spill that on your book.
That's what I'm saying. Or matcha tea. No, that's not as highbrow. But no, I don't want... See, this book doesn't even deserve that. This book doesn't deserve to, waste a good drink on. It's that bad. It's that bad, everyone. Don't buy this. That was so annoying. I'm annoyed now. I'm triggered. Maddie, untrigger me.
I'm sorry. I don't know how to trigger you.
I'm so annoyed. So another thing that annoyed me. Oh, this is I had a whole rant about it in the admin chat. So Jess, forgive for this, because this is a repeat for you. But First Man. Oh my God! I can't believe how bad that movie is. This is about Neil Armstrong, right? And man's first mission to moon. Mm-hmm. Can you believe man's first mission to moon? The event that actually inspired me to be in STEM. This is the same. This is the event that is. I'm so at marvel at this. This is that event. I fell asleep twice during the movie. In IMAX, and I looked at my phone 26 times. Can you believe that? This is the same movie that has all this controversy of they didn't show the flag. I wanted that fucking flag, because this is an American
They didn't show a flag? That's because it's a conspiracy and it never happened.
Hey, listen, I was actually telling it to Ryley. I'm like, at the end, they showed that this is all took place in a backlot, and up and coming director called Steven Spielberg directed all of it. And he's like, did that happen? I'm like, no, I wish it happened. Because that would be far more interesting than the dumb movie I watched. Like, this is like Ryan Gosling goes around and, you know, just pretends like you know that Drive. Have you seen the movie Drive? Like,
yeah.
So it's the exact same character as Drive, because Neil Armstrong was Drive, like, you know, the character Drive, who has the personality of a white paint, like not drying. I hate this. I hated that movie.
You should have seen Venom instead.
I know, right? Here's the thing.
Honestly, you would have had a way better time. It's a bad movie, but you would have had a great time.
No, because the thing is, I really wanted to watch a movie, and then by the time I got there, that was the one that was gonna be playing in like 5 minutes time. Everything else, I have to wait like 40 minutes or whatever. So I'm like, fine, I want to go see. Because, you know, it's an IMAX. I heard good things about it. This is like the first time. I'm usually not this person, but this is the first time I'm like, fuck the damn fucking critics for giving this movie 90%. Whoever they are should be. Oh my god, I'm triggered again. This is so bad. Like, the whole time I'm like, what is happening? Like, what is happening? How is it a movie about sending men to moon? Put me to sleep. Put me to sleep. The nerdiest person I know. Put me to sleep. Like, I was like, this is... Gravity was... Also, Hidden Figures, so entertaining, such an entertaining movie. And the whole time I was sitting, I'm like, how is this not setting in the same universe? Where are the Hidden Figures ladies? Like,
that's true, man. That movie was so good.
No, this is in the same universe. This is the same. It's all happening at the same time. Where are those ladies? That would have been so entertaining. Oh my god! But everyone is just sitting there and emoting. This is something we're gonna talk about next week, because this is I hate this trope. I hate this trope so much of like a trope of like a wife girlfriend. It's typically wife or girlfriend going up to the man who has a bigger mission. It's like, oh, you're not thinking about family? You're not thinking about me? How dare you? Bitch, please. Bitch, please. Like, you know, he's been doing this for 10 fucking years, and this is the day before he's going to the astronaut complex or wherever it is that he's going. It dawned onto you, he may not come back. Bitch, get out of here. Like, this movie has all of those. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, and you know, and this is it also has a pretty tard that is Ryan Gosling. Like, and he didn't got me interested. Can't believe it. Anyway, my rant is over. It's okay.
Honestly, it's a slow month for movies. Like, there's just not much.
I mean, I should
even scary movies. I'm like, I just watch Netflix at home because there's better stuff going on.
I should have waited 40 more minutes, because this was at 7 p.m. At 4 p.m. At 4:40, there was A Star Is Born. I fucking should have waited.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been so much. And then Venom was showing like at 5, like, you know, at 4:20 or something. 20 minutes, I could have seen Venom. I would have been just as entertained. I would have been entertained, at least.
No, for sure. And honestly, ever since I saw that movie, and I've seen some, like, more people are wearing pants from Venom and everything, I want to read Venom now. Like, that movie did its job. Like, I watched it, and now I'm like, I want to read Venom. Is Venom just like a buddy cop movie? This weird romantic comedy with, like, Eddie and Venom? That sounds great. I'll totally read this.
Donny Cates's run of Venom is very highly recommended. Like, everyone loves that. So
I think I'm gonna pick it up. I never thought I would want to read Venom ever. Like,
then Rick Remender did a run. That's also considered to be very good. And Venom's also in Eddie Brock. Yeah, it is Eddie Brock. Yeah, right? It's Eddie Brock, right? Yeah. He's also Remender's Secret Avenger as well. That actually got me interested into reading more about him. So that's but yeah, someone actually mentioned that there's now 3 Toms in Marvel Universe, but no one talks about it. There's 3 Chris's, and now there's 3 Toms. I'm like, straight white men. So many of them.
So many.
Amazing. That's also another thing that bothered me. So many, like it was just all men, like in the movie. First man. First man. And then someone said it should have also been called secondary woman because the wife is prominently there as well. Ugh.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't have anything else. I'm triggered enough.
I don't really either, but to die. So everybody's listening. We were going to talk about spooky stuff today, but because Kristan's not here, we didn't want to do our review of our list.
Right.
So next week we'll be reviewing all the spooky books we've been reading. So a lot of those we have like a list, and some of us are reading kind of different things, but we all read Lock and Key. What else is on our list? I read Rachel Rising.
Yeah, no, it's Lock and Key, Rachel Rising, Saucer Country, which was our pick of the month.
Yeah, we'll be reviewing that next weekend.
Kim Ripper. Then there is iZombie. And
yeah, I might not get to that one because I don't have the omnibus money right now.
Oh,
it's not comicsology, but I might read the first volume, so at least I can contribute.
It's one of those like super easy read, but I wouldn't go out of my way to buy the omnibus if I were you. Yeah. If you know what I mean. So okay. And also Witches or Watches, however.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely read that volume because I got it for 79 cents on Instant Trade.
So there's 6 of them, and we're going to talk about all those 6. Are we going to do spoiler and spoiler free, or we're just going to go complete spoiler?
I think
Lock and Key we do want to do.
I think it's best to go into the... We'll tell you when we talk about spoilers, but I think it's best to come into the show open-minded and realize that there will be spoilers. Right. But I think it's also... I get spoiled on what happens in comic books all the time. But it doesn't ruin... I don't think it'll ruin the experience for anybody at all. I think we can talk about these things without getting in... Yeah. So spoilers for Lock and Key.
Yeah.
But like the rest of them, I think we can talk about and talk about what happens in the book, and it's not going to at all ruin your reading experience, I feel like.
Right, but the thing is, like, we highly recommend you read Lock and Key. Like, I cannot recommend this enough because it's complete. It's a wild thing. Like, I've read a lot of books, but it's a wild book. Like, I loved it so much. This is a spoiler kind of our review. I loved it so much, but
it's so good.
Yes,
I can't wait for the show.
Yeah, do read that. And then, so we're going to talk about that next week. And the following week, we're finally going to do a Gem and the Hologram.
It's going to happen.
And on November 9th, we're not at liberty to talk about it just yet because we are still waiting for a couple of confirmation. But there is a major, major interview going to happen. So
yeah, and I'm doing a lot of reading to prepare because I have a lot.
Yeah,
you're
doing a lot of reading, and it's also going to be. Oh no, I don't want to ruin it. I'll let Kristan ruin that one. Like, Kristan say that one, not ruin, but to Kristan just speak about that. Yeah. But so it's gonna be. So that will be November 9th, which is a Friday. But
Elliot said it. Is it Chris Evans?
I wish, you guys. Well, no, I wish.
That's the only acceptable way Fariha could talk to Chris Evans. He can't talk in person.
No. I'm not legally allowed to be in person. Like, within 100, whatever the restriction, like where the restraining order is. It's like it's 100 years. I don't know. I should look into it. But I mean, no, not even. This will be me, like the whole time.
No, so it's not Chris Evans. Spoilers, it's not Chris Evans.
It's not Chris Evans, but it's someone. But anyway, like but yeah, we can talk about it because it's not confirmed yet. So that's kind of like, but it's semi-confirmed. It's just like we need another confirmation. But it'll be amazing. That's for sure. So stay tuned for that. But anyway, so do you want to kind of sign us off with the pick of the week for you?
Okay, so my pick of the week for this week. Oh man, it's Kristan!
Hey!
Girl, listen, my nose is acting up. I love you. I'm happy to see you, but we still gotta wrap this up at 10.
I know. I was like, should I even get on at this point?
Yes, you should. I miss you.
I don't even have my headphones, and I was like rushing, like, I gotta get it done. I gotta get it done.
That's fine. We're happy to see you anyways. Yeah. Okay, I think Kristan can give us her pick of the week, and then we can.
What's your pick of the week? You just do it.
Let's just grab something here. How about An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green?
Oh, there you
go.
Why not?
Perfect.
Also, Lock and Key.
Yeah, we were just talking.
That's everyone's pick of the week. Lock and Key.
It's funny. I read it like years ago, and I'm finishing it up right now, and I don't even remember. Like, I don't even remember half of it, and I'm like, where was I? Because this is great.
Right. So yeah.
Right.
So we are going to talk about Lock and Key next week, more in depth. But that's Kristan's pick of the week. Maddie, what's your pick of the week?
Oh man, I always read a ton of stuff, but I don't remember what I've read because I read too many things all at once. I'm gonna say Uzumaki because I read Uzumaki this week and it blew me away. It's like a horror manga by Junji Ito, and it was real gross. I loved every second of it.
Real gross. The spirals.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, I loved it.
I'm going to recommend Sheets, which is also Kristan recommended 1,000 times. So I'm going to add one more time to this.
You gotta be sheeting me.
I have a laugh track.
I can't make jokes because I laugh and I cough. Guys, cut the sheet. We're having a show here.
Maddie, you have to read Sheets, and then we should have a whole episode where we just make sheet puns.
I don't think you guys are ready. I've been preparing for those for years.
It'll be a sheet show. That was Reed's. That
was good, Reed.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Sheets by Fangirlz Assemble. It's a shit show. You're gonna have a lot of fun. And all the books that we talked about, you can find them all in instructrades.com, where you can get all of them for 42% to 50% off. They're running an awesome damaged and clearance sale right now, which every 3 days the percentage increases. So currently, I think we're at 55% mark, but by the time we get to November 6th, it's 85%. So go there, check it out. And the damage doesn't even mean damage because you were never gonna see it. But go check them out. Get all the books that we talked about. Come back to us next. Join us next week where we will be talking about all of our spooks list. And if you want to know what those are, go to our Instagram, which is Fangirlz Assemble, where you can find a nice handy dandy picture guide that will help you to see what we are reading. Thank you so much for tuning. And we'll see you next weekend. Bye.
Ciao, guys.
I love you.
Bye.